On April 22nd, 2026, a bill was introduced in Congress that just deleted your state privacy laws. It is called the Secure Data Act, and it sounds like a consumer protection bill. It is not. Its primary function is to establish a weak national privacy standard that explicitly forbids individual states from enforcing their own stricter laws. California, Illinois, Colorado, every local firewall you have been relying on is being legally preempted by a single federal document written by the same lobbyists it is supposed to regulate. And the timing is not a coincidence. The tech monopolies have been fighting state privacy laws one by one for years, and they have been losing. So they stopped fighting state by state and just bought a federal solution instead. You are no longer a user with digital rights. You have been reclassified as unprotected training data, and to understand why they need your data this badly right now, you have to look at the crisis that is quietly tearing these companies apart from the inside. Still with me? Good, because this next part is the motive, and once you see it, the rest of this makes complete sense. The major AI companies have a fatal problem. They have spent hundreds of billions of dollars building artificial intelligence systems, but they have completely run out of public data to train them on. The open internet has been scraped dry. Every public article, every website, every Reddit thread, every dataset that was legally accessible, gone. And without fresh high-resolution human behavioral data, these models start degrading. They need new data desperately. Your private text, your smartwatch biometrics, the precise telemetry of how you physically move through your day. Here's how desperate they actually are. Meta is now forcing its own employees to install internal software called the Model Capability Initiative. This software records their mouse movements, their keystrokes, and their clicks, every physical interaction with the machine, just to generate enough behavioral data to keep the AI training pipeline running. There is no opt-out. They are wiretapping the muscle movements of their own workforce. If they are willing to do that to the people on their payroll, think carefully about what they want from the 2 billion users who are not. Your local privacy laws were the only thing standing between your data and that pipeline. So they went to Washington and bought the legislation that removes them. But passing the law was only step one. Step two is making sure local government cannot fight back. Here's the part that most people have completely missed because it was buried inside an executive order that almost nobody read. The White House recently issued a sweeping AI executive order, and inside that document is a directive that should alarm anyone who still believes local government can protect them. It ordered the Department of Justice to establish an AI litigation task force. The explicit stated job of this task force is to actively sue individual states that pass AI or privacy laws that conflict with the federal government's new national standard. Read that again. The federal government is using your tax dollars to sue your state representatives and congresspeople for trying to protect your data. We're already seeing it happen. When Utah introduced bills requiring transparency from large AI developers and basic safeguards for minors, the White House issued a direct memorandum opposing the state legislation, not suggesting changes, opposing it. The federal government is building a legal fortress around the AI industry, and the DOJ is the enforcement arm. So your state cannot save you, and if you think the privacy toggle on your phone still means anything at all, the next part is going to be uncomfortable to hear. The Secure Data Act does two things that effectively end consumer privacy enforcement in this country. First, it preempts state biometric privacy laws. For years, laws like Illinois BIPA were the most powerful privacy tools ordinary people had. If a company scanned your face without written consent in Illinois, they faced statutory damages of up to $5,000 per violation per person. Those penalties produced billion-dollar settlements. They were the only reason tech companies were genuinely afraid to deploy facial recognition freely. The Secure Data Act places a weak federal standard over the top of those laws and renders them unenforceable. But the second thing it does is arguably worse. It eliminates the private right of action. That means you as a citizen are legally barred from suing a tech company directly if they steal your biometric data. You have to file a complaint with a backlogged federal agency and wait, which mathematically means nothing ever happens. Your face, your voice print, your retina scan, every biometric identifier attached to your physical body is now being treated as open source material. The cameras at the grocery store checkout, the facial recognition at airport security, the biometric sensor built into your own laptop. All of it is feeding a centralized data market that you have no remaining legal right to challenge. They did not just take your browsing history, they seized the legal rights to your physical geometry. And this is the part where most people feel helpless. So let's talk about what actually still works. Let's be completely honest about where things stand, because false hope is more dangerous than a clear picture of the threat. The legal architecture that was supposed to protect your data has been deliberately dismantled from the top down. The Secure Data Act removes your state protections. The DOJ task force ensures your local politicians cannot rebuild them. The elimination of private right of action ensures you cannot sue your way out individually. And the Meta keylogger story tells you exactly how hungry these companies are for whatever is left. The data broker industry is worth over $300 billion globally, and that number grows every time the data gets more intimate. Biometric data is worth more than browsing data. Behavioral data is worth more than demographic data. Physical location patterns are worth more than purchase history. They are not collecting what they can get. They are legally engineering access to what they could not get before, which means the only remaining defense is not legal, it is architectural. End-to-end encryption is not a preference anymore, it is the minimum viable baseline. Stripping biometric authenticators off your devices and replacing them with physical security keys removes the most valuable data point they are after. Auditing every service that holds your real name, your real face, or your real location, and cutting the ones that do not need it. That is the actual work. None of this is convenient, but the toggle on your settings page was never connected to anything real. The state law you were counting on is being sued out of existence by the same government that passed it. The only firewall left is one you build yourself. And the first step is understanding exactly what was just taken from you. And if you want proof that this is already accelerating, go look up the Secure Data Act yourself. Read the preemption clause, read the section that removes your right to sue. It is all public record sitting in a congressional database that, to quite frank, no one even bothers to read. The people who wrote this were counting on you not reading it. That is the only reason why this stuff works in the legal world, so go ahead and read it.